Stop telling me your love language is quality time. That's amateur hour. The true, transcendent sixth language is the profound silence you achieve immediately after screaming "Yalla" at the GPS. This raises the essential question: is physical touch just the ultimate philosophical attempt to avoid difficult conversation?
Welcome, fellow travelers, to the cosmic junkyard of human emotion. We are here today to discuss a phenomenon so profound, so utterly mystifying, that one man attempted to capture its infinite essence using only 5 simple categories. I speak, of course, of Dr. Gary Chapman's revolutionary yet hilariously oversimplified framework, the 5 love languages. Before 1992, relationships were basically a chaotic soup of interpretive dance and passive-aggressive notes. Then came Chapman, saying, "Hold my metaphorical relationship textbook. I've got this quantifiable system." Philosophically, is love a multiple-choice quiz? Let's find out.
The core problem, beautifully distilled, is this. We don't speak the same dialect of affection. You are shouting, "I love you," in the language of freshly vacuumed floors, while your partner only hears affection in the form of robust, unsolicited shoulder massages. This relational misfiring causes more existential dread than trying to assemble IKEA furniture with metric instructions. Chapman observed that people consistently ask for love in one of 5 ways, effectively creating a dating Rosetta Stone. And the first dialect we must decode is the most verbose.
Words of affirmation. These are the verbal validators, the human resonance chambers who require audible proof of devotion. For them, actions speak louder than words is heresy. They need the compliments, the appreciation, the declaration that they are, in fact, spectacular. If you tell them you look great, they internally track the tone, cadence, and sincerity coefficient of your statement. If their primary language is this, a simple, heartfelt "Mabruk" on a minor achievement means more than a yacht. But remember, the words must be specific. Vague praise is just linguistic noise.
Next, we enter the realm of the practical, acts of service. These folks believe that love is quantifiable by the successful completion of chores or favors. Fixing a leaky faucet, grocery shopping, taking out the trash. These are not mundane tasks, they are sacred vows of commitment. The philosophical conundrum here: does fixing the garage door out of pure obligation count as love, or is it merely efficient resource management? I once thought this language was invented by 1950s appliance salesmen. That was nonsense, of course. Ya Zalami, it's just helpfulness driven by sincere devotion. It says, "I see your burden, and I will share it quietly."
This language often gets a bad rap, confused with materialism, but let's delve deeper. Receiving gifts is fundamentally about the tangible symbol. The gift itself is irrelevant. The thought, the effort, and the manifestation of being remembered when absent, that is the currency. It's the material evidence that you crossed my mind. A gift person is heartbroken not by the lack of a diamond necklace, but by the lack of a smooth stone picked up from a beach trip, because that stone represents a moment of intention. This is symbolic communication, not transactional commerce, wallah. If you forget their birthday, you have conceptually erased their existence from your memory log.
Quality time. This language demands your undivided, 100% presence. No phones, no multitasking, no TV drone, just focused, shared experience. For these individuals, time is the most precious, non-renewable resource, and if you allocate it entirely to them, that is the ultimate declaration of worth. But what constitutes quality? Is staring silently at a sunset together high quality, or does it require deep, engaging conversation about whether parallel universes contain better versions of ourselves? The answer is yes, provided you are fully present. If you check your phone, you have just served them an eviction notice from your attention span.
Finally, we arrive at physical touch. This language translates emotional safety and affection through proximity and contact.
Simple gestures, holding hands, a quick pat on the back, cuddling on the sofa are essential communication tools. The philosophical underpinning is that the body is the ultimate medium of connection. Words are just flawed approximations. A touch person can communicate entire paragraphs of security and passion through a simple hand squeeze. They are not necessarily hypersexual, they are simply tactile communicators. If you pull away, you are essentially hanging up on their emotional call.
Now, here is where we veer into dangerous philosophical territory. Is it possible that Chapman missed a crucial sixth language? I posit the existence of tactical avoidance, the love demonstrated by giving your partner vast, uninterrupted stretches of silence and space, not out of malice, but out of deeply appreciated solitude. While perhaps not strictly affection, the capacity to respect boundaries is often the bedrock of enduring relationships. No, I know this is nonsense, but the point is, 5 categories can't possibly contain the universe of human intimacy, yet they serve as crucial starting points. Shukran, Dr. Chapman.
The biggest mistake we make, the colossal, blinding error, is assuming that the way we naturally express love is the same way our partner receives it. You, a words of affirmation person, might shower your partner with lyrical sonnets, but if they speak acts of service, your eloquent poetry sounds like lovely, meaningless static, while the sink is still backed up. You are speaking perfect French, but they only understand Mandarin. This is not a failure of effort, it is a failure of translation. You must stop speaking your native tongue and learn theirs.
Love languages gain traction because they offer people a clean, understandable blueprint for emotional success in an era of rapidly accelerating relationship complexity. It turned the bewildering fog of feeling into a 5-point checklist. It's comforting, isn't it, to think that if you just check all 5 boxes, love is guaranteed? This attempt to quantify and categorize something as fluid as intimacy reflects a deep modern anxiety, the need to control chaos through methodology. It's the ultimate self-help paradox.
In the modern dating landscape, we now introduce ourselves with our love language profile. Hi, I'm Aisha, acts of service primary, but definitely don't try physical touch before the 3rd date. This reduction of personality into a single data point is deeply hilarious and terribly misleading. No one is a pure single language. We are dialectic polyglots, speaking a highly prioritized mix of all 5. But the system is useful because it identifies your primary receiving channel, the one that, when neglected, causes the entire emotional infrastructure to collapse.
Forget the 5 categories for a moment. The true philosophical kernel is that the language of love isn't touch or gifts, it's effort. The attempt to learn, translate, and perform in a manner foreign to your nature is in itself the greatest act of devotion. If a person who detests gift shopping goes out and finds you the perfect, tiny, symbolic trinket, that action is steeped in more love than 1,000 gifts bought casually by a receiving gifts native. The sacrifice of comfort is the metric that truly counts.
Relationship experts often suggest the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you communicate love in your partner's primary language, and 20% of the time you communicate in their secondary language, just for good measure. I'm making up the 80-20 statistic right now. There is zero research supporting that exact numerical distribution. That was total nonsense. But the underlying truth is valid. You must be proactive and disproportionate in favoring their language over your own comfort zone. Love is a foreign exchange program, not a reciprocal treaty.
Consider the acts of service person married to the physical touch person. One expresses love by fixing the brakes, the other receives love through cuddling. When the car is fixed, the acts of service partner says, "There, I love you." The touch partner might feel nothing. Why? Because the touch receiver needs the translation of that action into their language, perhaps a long hug and "Thank you for keeping me safe, my love." Learning the 5 languages is just the dictionary. Mastering love is the translation.
Critics argue that reducing love to 5 methods turns intimacy into a mechanical technique, a tool.
and they have a point. If you perform an act of service purely because the manual told you to, is it authentic? The philosophy hinges entirely on intent. The 5 languages are descriptive, not prescriptive. They diagnose the communication channel, but they don't generate the emotion. You must still bring the raw, messy, deeply felt human desire to connect. The tool is only as good as the carpenter.
Chapman frames Hadha beautifully through the metaphor of the love tank. Everyone has an emotional fuel tank that needs topping up, primarily with their native fuel. When the tank is empty, relationships stall, and we become irrational, defensive, and generally unpleasant to be around. If you are married to a words of affirmation person and you haven't given them a compliment in a week, their tank is running on fumes, and they might start picking fights about the thermostat. It's rarely about the thermostat. It's always about the fuel.
So we return to the grand cosmic question. Is love quantifiable? No, but communication is measurable. The 5 love languages are a fantastic, humorous, yet fundamentally crucial guide to navigating the baffling waters of human partnership. They strip away the ambiguity and force us to ask the most important philosophical question in any relationship. How can I make you feel truly seen and appreciated in a way that resonates with your unique soul? Go forth, practice empathy, and start speaking in your partner's dialect. Yalla, get to work.
What?